You are proving to these politicians they can say anything, they can do anything. They do not need to focus on your actual concerns as long as they own the liberals, as long as they say something angry. Because Donald Trump is one of the weakest, most pathetic, most I'm going to use feminine in the way you use feminine. He's the most emotional crybaby in the whole world. Like he got up even in 2016 from interviews just because someone fact checked him. If Donald Trump is asked a tough question from the media, the first thing he doesn't stand on business, okay? He doesn't talk about facts. He doesn't say, "Hey, look, I have the answers." You know what he does? He starts throwing a tantrum, calling the reporter terrible fake news. You're disgusting. You're terrible. That is the weakest, most beta attitude towards life that you can possibly have in the whole world. The fact that Donald Trump ran from 60 Minutes even a week ago because they wouldn't agree to no fact checking. And when he went on that one black journalist panel a few months ago, the only reason he went on it is because they agreed to no fact checking. And the only reason JD Vance debated Tim Walz is because they agreed to no fact checking as a rule, because they can only exist in a world without facts, because everything they say is made up. They are some of the weakest people. And I feel like that's one of the things that gets me the most, is that when it comes to the American ideals that I was taught growing up, okay, there were two sides to it. One of those was bravery, freedom, democracy, liberty. And the other side was being a dumbass, okay? And being American, in some people's minds, is I could do whatever I want. You know, if I want to drive down the wrong side of the road at 500 miles per hour with 15 AK-47s and I'm 18 beers deep and I'm ready to just go drive off a bridge and do a stunt jump or whatever, I can do that. It's America. That's real freedom. That's what many people mean when they say freedom in America. When I think freedom in America, I think liberty. I think what our nation was founded on. I think about justice, democracy. I think about all of these things, immigration, being able to solve mixing pot or whatever we call that, melting pot, whatever. I don't even, you know what I mean. Being able to solve all these different cultures and populations coming together. And that's one of the reasons America has been so strong and continues to be so strong. And all of these American ideals of respect and dignity and discipline, discipline's a big one because Donald Trump lacks all discipline. And the idea that Donald Trump is this patriotic image to so many people tells me they never really cared about that liberty part. Being able to defend the weakest among us, being able to trailblaze a new way forward and find new innovative ways to live in life or whatever. Like all these people, they only saw the American freedom. And I can say the education system messed up here, but they only see American freedom as the ability to do something dumb, to shoot at each other with bulletproof vests on. They want to actively and aggressively do dumb things, and that's the freedom they see. I see freedom as having a government that protects people, having unions, having healthcare, having a system in place where we cannot be exploited by the richest people in the world. Meanwhile, Donald Trump wants to cut taxes for all of the richest people in the world, and the richest person in the entire world, literally the richest person, Elon Musk, is now the biggest Donald Trump derpy cheerleader. And it's wild to think about that because I hear the right wing talking George Soros still. The right's talking about George Soros, who is worth like $5 billion. That's a lot of money, sure. He owns a couple newspapers. He's made a couple campaign contributions. Elon Musk is worth $350 billion, bought Twitter for $40 to $50 billion, and turned that into a Trump propaganda wing. And no one complains about Elon Musk, probably because Soros is Jewish, I'm guessing. And I know everyone has known that for a while now, but the hypocrisy is astounding. Your American ideals are built on a foundation of just the dumbest shit imaginable with no substance. It's painful. You don't care about the facts. You don't care about how the economy is doing. You care about vibes. You care about how you feel. You care about if America's badass. You don't care about how NATO works or how engaging with other countries actually works, how to use soft power, how to use different forms of power throughout the world. Because right now, it's an information age. It's a technology age. The type of power we need isn't just like some baby saying, I'm stronger than them, like Donald Trump wants to do. It's actual alliances. It's actually listening to business leaders. It's actually being able to work with other countries in a way that benefits different countries in a mutualistic way. We've known this for a while now. Countries that do that the best are able to excel and succeed. And the fact that Donald Trump spends all of his time praising Russian dictators, oligarchs, Hungary, Russia, North Korea, China. Donald Trump has said many times he wishes he could rule with an iron fist like they do. This guy, I know no one cares he tried to overturn the 2020 election, but let's talk about it in one way first. He tried to overturn the election while also claiming the other side was trying to overturn the election, saying that Democrats overturned the election. And by the way, the only people that have gone to jail for election-related crimes, and happened a couple weeks ago, are Trump supporters who are very close to Trump, who tried hacking election machines. So if they make an accusation, they are probably doing it. So Donald Trump claimed the other side was stealing the election while trying to steal the 2020 election. Mike Pence told Trump, we're not going to do that. There was a whole legal battle behind the scenes, by the way. January 6th was just to delay the certification of the vote. So Donald Trump was willing to bring violence onto our state's, our country's capital to block the certification and peaceful transfer of a presidential election. And you still have JD Vance going on stage smiling. Just smiling, being all slimy, like, oh yeah, the peaceful transfer of power, and Trump protected Obamacare, although Trump tried killing Obamacare multiple times. Oh, Trump protects Social Security. Every single Trump budget wanted to cut Social Security and Medicare. Oh, Trump's gonna stop the wars. Donald Trump was literally talking the other day, saying that if Iran makes him upset and says something mean, he's gonna try to bomb the shit out of them and their nuclear facilities. Everything you say about Donald Trump is nothing. It's fake. It's the opposite. He doesn't represent these values. And I think that's one of the most startling things about Donald Trump as the person, as the icon. This person who came to America, has no ideas, has terrible policy. Nothing he ever did or said turned out well at all. If you think it did, you don't have the right facts. And people I know that I've shown all of the facts to, they don't care about the facts. They really don't care. They're usually just mad at something, and Donald Trump fuels that anger and aggression and whatever that says about the American people. Donald Trump didn't shoot up in the polls because of the economy, because he was in business, although his business ventures failed completely. He shot up because he called Mexicans rapists and murderers, and some I assume are good people. He was the only person willing to be angry, willing to be offensive, willing to be racist openly, and willing to do it in a way that is very, that's shameless. And people really appreciated that. And people see themselves through him. All the anger and everything they have. There's a reason, though, why the less money you make and the more working class you are, and by less money, I just mean if you're not rich, you're more likely to vote Democrat. The people who showed up for January 6th were all middle class. The biggest determinant for who is going to support Trump is if you have not gone to college. And by the way, I know a lot of smart people who haven't gone to college, and they are not voting Trump, by the way, just so you know. So I'm not saying everyone that doesn't go to college is dumb or anything, but if you don't go to college and if you live in an all-white neighborhood, it's really hilarious that the people who don't like immigrants have never been around immigrants. And it's kind of the same with women, if you think about it. But yeah, these groups that are around immigrants, some more Democrat-leaning people, those people are okay with immigrants. They like immigration. They see immigration as a good thing. So when Donald Trump says Haitians are eating dogs or whatever, a lot of white people in America just accepted that at face value because they want to believe that about immigrant populations. And I'll tell you what, being from a poor white area myself in rural America, coal towns, the opioid epidemic, poor areas in general have high crime rates. It's not about skin color. It's not about culture. It's about economic conditions. People who are fleeing from countries that are torn apart through devastating circumstances are not coming to America so they can get arrested. Why would criminals or gangs come across the border, bring their entire family, risk everyone's lives so they can come here where we will put people in jail, where we will separate families, rather than stay in a country where there is no law at all? Why would organized criminals come to America to do that? They wouldn't. Why would that make any logical sense? The vast majority of immigrants who come to America are doing it out of desperation. The vast majority. And we know the immigrant population in America, including undocumented, or as they say, illegal aliens, because they want you to look at immigrants like they're animals. But these undocumented people have some of the lowest crime rates, and also they're revitalizing churches. They have families that are revitalizing communities. A lot of the old strip malls that are falling apart, those now have immigrant businesses in them. Many small town America destinations are being revitalized by immigration. But the issue is these towns that were torn apart from economic issues, all of that anger is being directed against people who do not look like them, all these white people. So when you have non-white people, people of color move in, all the white people there are already pretty racist. But now they're even more mad because these immigrants are coming in doing better than the white people that have always lived there are doing. And instead of looking at economic fixes, instead of looking at support for small businesses, instead of looking at support for getting an education or bringing economic resources home, instead of doing that, all of the anger and hate is placed on immigrants or those who are receiving support for food stamps or receiving health care through the government. All the hate and anger is directed to hate your fellow American. Donald Trump represents the most anti-American political movement in American history. And that will be shown as time moves on. And I think you can always say, like, the current system isn't doing great. The current system has never done great. Politics isn't fun. Government isn't awesome. You know, it's a really slow-moving process. It gets better over time, but it is slow-moving. But the main point of all of this is we are not looking for good solutions. People are not coming together in communities and talking about what's best for us. People are shutting down their critical thinking. And this is Donald Trump's approach. Talk about World War III, Great Depressions, anger, hate, violence. Who would be scared? He wants us to be angry and scared because he knows those emotions in our brain chemically, they shut down our ability to critically think. And he wants nobody critically thinking. And I would argue that you could say, oh, both sides don't want people critically thinking. That's not exactly true. The political system would be a lot better if American voters would not fall for this bullshit. It would be a lot better. Even from a vibe standpoint, who cares if Trump tried to overturn the election? Who cares? Let's say that doesn't matter. Although that's what every authoritarian dictator does to start off. That's like their first goal is to get rid of education, get rid of colleges. Hitler went for the media first. He went for scholars first. He went for academics first. And then he got the Jews later down the line. Jews were just like the main demographic group targeted that suffered the highest casualty rate. But those who had any intellectual backing were the first people kicked out of Nazi Germany because they cannot have anyone allowed with information. They need to ban facts. They need to ban all verifiable facts so they can replace facts with their version of reality. And yeah, it's really scary to see that movement happening right now in America. And come on, dude, have some standard for what you believe. You don't want to be that kind of person who believes literally anything. You believe anything anyone tells you. If you do that, you're going to get abused and manipulated by a lot of people. And I know many of you had really shitty upbringings. You had really bad parents. You had, you just say shit like, that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. My whole family had to go through this. Now I have to. That's not true. We can stop these cycles. We don't need to fall into aggression and anger about literally everything. If you have some aggression and anger, point it towards, hey, I'm going to vote in government. Let's take some money from the top and give it to us. Why are the rich stealing from us? Why are they profiting off of cigarettes and gambling and alcohol? Why are they profiting off of owning our houses and owning our food supplies and owning our water supplies? Why not redistribute some of that wealth down to us? Why not protect workers? Why not pay us more or give us the access to healthcare we need, to access to childcare, the access to do all these things we want to do in our lives? Why not focus it on that? The immigrants are not stealing from this country. Immigrants are adding to this country. The people stealing from this country are the same people that are in the background giving dark money to Donald Trump. Because they know if your anger and hate is always focused on immigrants and the weakest people among us, and if you're going to be talking about FEMA, that should be a time for our country to unite. We should be coming together at that time. But if they can get you to keep your eye off the ball, this is not really much of a video. I want to get on here and just talk about what's happening in my brain because the recent lies and the news stories being spread about this election are driving me insane. It's to the point where if I talk to somebody who's voting for Donald Trump, I feel like I'm getting a constant repeated concussion that would make NFL CTE look like a minor headache. But anyways, right now with the FEMA funding conversation, conspiracy theories, I know the Republicans in the House are more likely to believe that the government and liberals and Jews are controlling the weather before they will actually go and approve more funding for FEMA. And Donald Trump, okay, this entire thing, it makes you feel wild, okay? He will lie about literally anything. He will say that Republican governors have not heard from the White House seconds after those governors say the White House just got done calling. Seconds. And then he will say that for days after it's been outright verified to be completely false by every imaginable standard. And people I know still believe that FEMA is not correctly funded because of immigration. Even after all the fact checks, even after all the verification, not even fact checks. This is reality. This is just like very basic understanding of things. And I agree, propaganda is bad. Elon Musk is bad. Donald Trump's bad for lying to people. But when you get to the point of where it's like you're in a cult, okay? It doesn't matter what I show you. It doesn't matter what we talk about. It doesn't matter what evidence I show you. It doesn't matter how the economy is actually doing. It doesn't matter what's actually happening with whatever war, whatever economic issue. Donald Trump can just say that he saved Obamacare when he tried to get rid of it, and that can stand. They can literally just advocate on 60 Minutes and for the debate. They will not participate at all unless if there's zero fact checking. They can tell you to your face they are lying and making up stories. And even after they are told directly that Donald Trump and JD Vance from their own mouths are lying on purpose, they will just go and carry on because they want to believe Haitian immigrants are dangerous. They want to believe liberals are bad. They want to believe Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are not providing funding for FEMA funding for hurricane responses. They want to believe all of this. And it all comes into the same area where we cannot communicate with you if you're going to have unserious opinions. And this is a message to people I know. It's past the point of that 2016 social justice warrior crying liberal thing. You believe in things that are literally not true at all. And you need to stop doing that. You need to stop believing in things that are not true. And if you have incorrect information, that's completely fine. But to the person I was just talking to a couple days ago, if I show you fact check after data point after data point, don't come back to me, okay, without being able to admit you were wrong in any way. I don't care that you had the wrong answers. I don't care that you believed bad information. I don't care that you held positions that are bad. I care that you refuse to change anything about your approach. You refuse to change anything about your opinions. You can have your entire worldview dismantled fact by fact by fact and still have that worldview because for you, it's a belief system. It's not really government. It's not really your own well-being. It's not really the world's well-being. It's your emotions. You want to see the liberals owned. You can't handle seeing Kamala cackling and laughing and being a woman who's not white talking in a position of power. You can't handle that, so you're pissed. You're pissed about that. You're going to blame every person in the world except the wealthy. You're going to talk about the elites and then see Elon Musk trot out and be like, oh yeah, he's on our side. Yeah, buddy, he's on your side. Sure, he's on your side. Donald Trump, who's selling $100,000 watches right now. By the way, through a channel that is anonymous in cryptocurrencies and it's only being advertised internationally to other countries. He's selling $100,000 watches. He's selling NFT trading cards, things that are not real. He has so many different pyramid, multi-level marketing. He has a bunch of different ways to scam. He had a whole stock. Like Donald Trump has been scamming you for so long and so proudly, but you're okay with that. Because when you say elite, it's clear, and it's been a while. And I don't want to be too strong about it, but if you have negative views towards immigrants, because that's all Donald Trump says, you can talk about every economic indicator doing great. You can talk about every policy that Biden and Kamala did that worked out fantastically. Our numbers in America right now economically are doing fantastic. The purchasing power right now for groceries is higher than it was in 2019. You wouldn't know that because not even the regular media would talk about that. But yeah, you don't care about the facts. You don't care about the facts, all right? If you have negative views towards people, and now it's not just illegal immigrants, now they want to get rid of legal immigrants. Now the Haitians are bad, and it doesn't matter that they lied about Haitian immigrants, who, by the way, are, it's a country that has been torn apart its entire history, and the people escaping there. And this is another thing, too. They're all Christian because of missionary trips, and many evangelicals in America that went to Haiti to pass on their religion to them. And now Haitian immigrants come to America and revitalize churches. Those evangelicals are not standing up for those immigrants. You hypocrites. Don't talk about God. Don't talk about your mission. Don't talk about saving. Don't talk about Jesus Christ. Don't talk about living through the Bible. Don't talk about living through Scripture. And then when you have a chance to stand up for a population that has been tormented their entire history, you do not stand. You do not say a single word because of your social group and your social identification and your God Emperor Trump. It's despicable, it's disgusting that you are willing to have such moral grandstanding and then turn to complete blasphemy and hypocrisy in that way. It's absolutely wild. And yeah, it's like, oh, crying liberals get mad. You're getting mad for no reason. No, I'm getting mad because you're saying things that do not exist, and you're harming real people in the real world. Donald Trump having back channel connections with Vladimir Putin, giving Putin COVID tests over Americans at the time. That story just came out. And yeah, if it's really just you don't like immigrants, you don't like immigrants. That's fine. Just say you don't like immigrants. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. We know the Haitian immigrants were not eating cats and dogs. These are fantastic people. Every group of people does crime. I don't even know if you care about those arguments or even facts in general. But just say it with your chest, okay? Say what you really mean. If you're scared about something, say what you really mean. Just say it. I'm done having these conversations. It's exhausting. Don't act like you're being reasonable. You're not being reasonable. Kamala Harris has released 5,000 more policies than Donald Trump. Donald Trump literally does not have a healthcare plan still, and he himself has said that. Yeah, just say why you really support him. Say why you are really mad at the liberals. Are you afraid of gay people? Are you afraid of non-white people? Are you afraid of people from different religions and different backgrounds and who speak different languages? Just say that.